Hello and welcome to one more episode of Ideas to the World. Enjoy your trip. What is social conditioning? From the view that I talked yesterday. I yesterday talked about social conditioning as a way to talk about the learnings that we make slash conditionings while we are interacting with others, and that all and those others can be friends, society, groups on the work, on university. It can be culturally, it can be anything that involves socializing with others or being interacting with other groups or people. And as we have an innate instinct to be part of the group, we can of course um, be 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 prone to incorporate some impulses, talking in a Jungian way, that are not ours, definitely. But it's not just Carl Jung that said this. Lots of social psychology experiments also tell this, that we are prone to absorb and to adhere to the norms of the group. But this is definitely not good, especially if we want to have our unique voice and be what is truly ourselves. At least what I think we should be, what we should be or become, if this makes sense for you, of course. At least we should reflect on this, on the culture that we have, on the impulses slash norms that we absorb from our behavior, for behavior of others, from fathers, mothers, family context while growing up as a child, because we have lots of mechanisms to absorb, lots of different ways that we can absorb types of behavior that it is not ours, that are not ours. For example, I remember, I am remembering now that childs, especially, they learn and absorb norms from society, watching people talking, watching people behaving, and they can mimic, actually, they mimic their behavior. And that can be in cognition and doing manual things like opening the door. They have the mirror neurons that like simulate what the person is doing on the brain of opening the door, that movement, and the motor cortex, it is activated, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And that works also to cognition, to methods of thinking, which is incredible and amazing too. And we can also do this in adults, and it can be more subtle and sophisticated, so you can understand other, or you can incorporate this under their inherently to the norms of the group inherently without building our own self, or at least finding what is our own self, and just be absorbing the narratives of the groups and the society and politics or wherever it is. And well, and a good way to find our true selves, it is through reflection, of course, and introspection, to see if the behaviors and voices and impulses that we have to do things, if they are ours, or if we want to maintain them when we are in a deep, profound state of consciousness about our behavior. And this is really powerful and truth, and we should be paying attention to this, because how many times in a moment of urgency the person says that it really wants to eat something or drinking Coca-Cola, but later when he's conscious of what she did, she says, I wish I didn't drink that Coca-Cola or this other activity that she did. Loads of times. And this is why, because when we are deeply conscious in the state of reflection and calm, with our nervous system calmed down, we are more prone to, well, really, in my opinion, look to define what is truly ourselves and our behavior. And Jungian psychology helps us a little bit with this, meaning to find and sculpt ourselves to the final individuation. But the final individuation, the individual completely individuated, I believe that's the word, it never comes, because it's like a process. But it's a process where you are not subjugated to the impulses of other groups and norms, but you create your own self and you create meaning. I think some people here wouldn't like for me to use this word create meaning, but I guess we can apply it in a certain way of thinking. It is true. We can apply our meaning to our life, or discover our meaning, or who we are, and without being subjugated to these impulses. So we find our own voice. That's also can be the case, because we are finally making introspection to see what's yours, what makes sense, what doesn't, and what to value, meaning culturally. Like, I know I absorb this from my culture and I honor it and I want to proceed with it and I move on. Or no, I absorb this part from the culture and I don't want to maintain with it because it doesn't make sense, because X, Y, Z, and this is my values, for whatever reason it is. So the person can be more prone to find their own voice and not be subjugated to the impulses of groups, or be subjugated to the group. And I'm remembering right now the Asch experiment, where the group was indicating a thing that was wrong, meaning this graph, for a lack of better terms, was here, and it was the example that they should be looking for. And then 3 rectangles were shown with 3 different sizes. One of the sizes was equal to the size of the rectangle that is serving as example, and the group said purposely one rectangle that wasn't the size of this one, but they were saying that it was the size of this one, like the experiment saying, okay, from these 3 rectangles, which one it is the size of this one? And they will say 2, like 5 people saying 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. But it's not true. The real rectangle that has the same size as this rectangle is the number 3. And guess what? A bunch of people would neglect what they were seeing in front of their eyes to conform to the group. It's amazing. An individuated person will not do this. A person that finds their own voice and defends what he believes, it won't be able to accept this. It will trust on themselves and argue. And how many times you find yourself in a position, and even me, where I shut the door and defend my values or what I believed in? So many, right? And that is like subjugating ourselves to the norm and to impulses that are not ours. And Carl Jung, in one of these books, it has there a paragraph that I think it is beautiful. That in today's norms it translates to contagion of thought and emotion, and basically says that the individual, without reflecting / looking to be individuated, to look for the individuation, it is more prone to act on impulses that are not their own impulses, but yes, the impulses of the group / the impulses of a monster, and he becomes part of the monster that is growing with impulses that are not from the own person, because the person is not looking to find its own terms in their life and find their unique voice and looking for their own individuation. So it's like a rat rambling around, subjugating to what the world gives to him. And that doesn't necessarily be wrong, but I guess that's not what but that's not the message I'm passing here to reflect on and share. And we can put that easily in totalitarianism regimes, right? Nazi, Holocaust, where we think we can't go to that regime again, but we definitely can, right? One step at a time. We know that there is some guards that worked in the Auschwitz camp or other camps, and after that ended, they were questioned and they answered that they were just following orders. which is awesome in the way that it is interesting to think about that, because that can definitely happen today. Us be subjugated to forces that are not good, but because we don't look for this introspection inside to find our true voice and our own voice, right? And with all the information that we have today, accessible and more accessible, people that study this knowledge about human behavior, they can be very persuasive, especially to some populations, like instigating the emotion instead of the critical thinking on humanity and on our thoughts and behavior, and that it is so fucking bad. God, it really hurts my heart. And yeah, what can I say more? Oh yeah, so this is really interesting. So let's say we make some introspection and we, in a state of calm and peace, where our nervous system it is calm, we find what we really want to do consciously, like in the moment of reflection and insight. Well, we will have to work. We will have to do things that they are hard and that we don't want to do it, right? Well, I guess that's life, right? That's the myth of the hero. It's not always easy. But there is a therapy that I like a lot, which is called the emotion focused therapy that I'm learning, that I believe it is beautiful. Beautiful. Because I think it is a really advanced therapy that can give answers to loads of these questions and make it more profound, I believe. But I'll make another video on that later on. And I want to share one more thing, what it is. I shared the mirror neurons, right? Mirroring the door, the cognition. I didn't talk about the role model, but we can have also a role model in adult life, of course, because that mimication, because that mimic of behavior, it does not only happen while we are a child, but also while and when we are adults. What more? I think that's enough for today. So yeah, the way we break social conditioning, it is to break it. Do what you think it is best for you, rationally and emotionally, and that's not the right word. Rationally, not rationally, but with your consciousness. I guess that's the right word. And introspection. So yeah, it is a slippery road sometimes, but that's the best thing we can do with our lives, I believe. Not subjugating ourselves to outside forces. And therapy is good for that. If you want a good therapist/psychologist, just send me a message or fill the form below the video. If you want to support this type of content as well, and me as the psychologist student that will become a psychologist, you can support this video, you can support my channel with €3 a month. Is super cheap, and I appreciate it, so I can stop working on Uber Eats, so I can do this full time, sharing some knowledge and wisdom to you. Thank you so much, and as always, bye bye.